DOU podcast, right?
Yeah. / DOU podcast.
Well, yeah, no shit. I got that part. Thank you, my love.
You're welcome. Well,
let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. You know what? We're gonna start. We just took a shot. Let's talk about what we're drinking today.
Yeah, exactly.
First.
What we're drinking.
All right. So today we've been having Luna Azul tequila. It's clear tequila.
It's very good. I like it.
It's not bad.
And it was on sale.
On sale. Came with a little bit of liqueur. That's exciting.
Pomegranate liqueur.
Pomegranate. You can have that later. I'm not really interested.
I'm so excited.
It was half the reason I got it, but I wasn't super excited about even having it in the first place.
And then we
decided. Pretty good stuff. I've had it before though. The Palma.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet, but
pretty tasty.
Sweet's not always a bad thing.
No.
No, but it was good, and I like the bottle. The bottle looks cool. That's half the reason I got it anyways.
Yeah, that's why. When you go to the liquor store, if you pick out an alcohol and it's not somewhat based on the bottle, then you're doing it wrong.
We're drinking that and Yuengling. Mixing with the tequila, we have Mr. and Mrs. T's strawberry margarita / daiquiri mix. Not very good.
It was only $3.
I'm gonna get myself a glass again here in a second because it's really strong.
Because it's drinks on us.
And it's drink. We gotta be drinking while we're doing it. Not to get drunk, but just to feel good. Always feeling good. But Yuengling as well, the greatest American beer ever made.
Well,
I don't care what anyone says.
That is debatable.
It's not.
That is very debatable.
And now, if you factor in flavor and price together, right?
If you approach it from that way, I mean,
we're compromising here.
Yeah.
So I also have something to discuss tonight on Drinks on Us.
Mm-hmm.
Every segment, I think we've decided to do this. We're gonna have a pick your poison.
Good.
Whenever Paige, me, says the word like.
Just you or everybody?
Me.
Just you.
Yeah, when I say the word like, I'm trying to describe something, and it's like, you know.
Not when you're making an analogy.
Yeah, if you're making an analogy, that's different. If I'm making an analogy, that's different. But every time I'm just like blah 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 blah. You got to take a drink of your poison that you've picked. So
basically, you start acting like a valley girl. It's appropriate.
Like, oh my God,
drinking.
there you go, drink. Everybody get off to a good start. And then Daniel.
Do we have drinks? Is the first part? You two do not.
We do not have drinks. I think I need a Yuengling.
Well,
Would you like a Yuengling?
Yes, please.
All right, you guys talk for a second.
I'll have another one.
You want another one?
Yeah. No, but it's exciting, and you know what? The first one's always a little loose. We're gonna have fun with it. We're just gonna sit here and talk. I got a few things to talk about.
I'm honored to be a part of it.
Basically, we're gonna approach you with ideas, and then we're gonna get your reactions and our reactions. Hopefully, a few tangents, some digressions. Feel pretty good about it. Just have a conversation, and you know what? Feel a little tipsy in the meantime. I'm not afraid to say it. Just feel good.
Well,
Just go with the flow.
We're in our 20s.
Right, because I'm a part of another podcast, and when we do our live streaming and our recordings, we do it at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So there's no drinking. There is drinking when we have a certain guest on, but I usually get too drunk and the podcast goes to shit. So we don't do that anymore. But it's too early, you know what I'm saying? So now it's nighttime. Have some drinks.
Apologize for being late today.
There we go.
Just trying to get used to being recorded.
Just move your chair a little closer to your mic. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I've never done a podcast, but I feel like this is basically, this is going to be a, like, drink.
Yeah.
It's going to be like how Brett and I are, like when we're just, our pillow talk, because this is how we talk at night. We go to bed and I'm like, so what do you think about this?
Well, it's not necessarily pillow talk, because that's something else. Pillow talk is something else entirely.
No, it's our pillow talk.
I don't think I want to be included in anything considered your guys' pillow talk.
No, but it's like just the nonsense that we talk about all the time. So it's really like no different than when we're just like hanging out or anything.
Sitting around doing nothing.
God, I say like so much.
This is gonna be awful. Pick your poison's a horrible game.
I'm not sure I like this game.
Whatever.
Next time we'll have someone else like. I'm glad that I'm not the one that we choose who does the word, because I just said like. We'll pick just a really abstract word like antique.
Well, and I say that word. I say the pick your poison word so much during regular conversation that I'm trying to like break myself of it, because it's really unprofessional to have pauses like
that I'm finding, excuse me, in the last about 30 seconds that you've been talking, is that I'm not listening so much to what you're saying, but I'm listening for the word like. That's my problem. So like you're talking and I'm listening, but I'm like, when is she gonna say it next? Because I'm like waiting to just grab, like I'm at a red light, just waiting for it to turn green so I can just hit the button.
I feel like this is a good way for me to break that habit. Because I don't want everybody shit-faced while they're listening to our podcast.
It's a really good habit to break, and I'm proud of you for not saying the word like before you just said habit. Because that was a good place to say it.
Thank you.
And you didn't say it. But I remember I was hanging out with some friends, and we had the problem of saying like all the time, partly because we were always stoned or drunk. And we were always saying the word likes because like, oh, we're not thinking too fast. We need a way to describe things. Our diction isn't doing so great. So the word like came up a lot, and we were so aware of it that we were like, we should just stop saying it. And we didn't turn it into a game where we started drinking, but we would just call somebody out on it every time they did it.
Yeah.
Wise up, use a better word.
I also want to do a quick plug for we're live tweeting, chatting, so either on our Facebook or our Twitter handle, feel free to shoot something out there, chime in. Please, someone let us know that you can hear us live because I'm really terrified that it's not going to work.
We currently have 1 viewer. Shout out to that guy or girl.
Thanks.
This is Equal Opportunity
Super proud
World
of you.
and Podcast. Let's
I know
get this thing
Daniel's
started.
mom was talking about listening, but she's like technically incapable. I love your mother. I do. Mama Rio.
All right. She's getting technologically pretty advanced.
We're going to jump right in here.
Miata.
The first thing we're going to start off every time we do this is this day in history, or this week in history,
So
rather.
exciting.
But some of this is this day. For instance, today, in '69, I guess, was the first day of Woodstock.
Yeah. Did you know that?
First
You
day.
you.
I did not, or at least I wasn't paying attention.
Today was the first day of Woodstock.
Yeah.
It's
Super
exciting.
exciting. I'm all about that because you know how I am with our music festivals. Like,
I could have been down to be at Woodstock.
well,
I actually
heard
knew
it was
a guy.
horribly muddy.
Yeah.
because
Disgusting.
it rained and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, something that was actually really cool a few years ago.
Dan's listening. Shout out to that
Shout
guy.
out to Dan
Love
Jones.
you, Dan Jones. Where's Elijah?
Worst boss I ever had.
I met a guy, an old hippie. He had a house up in West Virginia near Falling Waters,
Mhm.
and the floors of it, the plywood that he used for the floors, was actually part of the stage from Woodstock.
That's a really good conversation piece to have in your place.
Like,
Yeah, totally.
oh, he was total like old school hippie,
Long
like
hair.
old school, yeah.
Did he have long gray hair? Like
Long gray hair, wore
Love it.
tie dyes, like. Well, and he had set his entire property like it was small, but he had built a stage up there,
Yeah.
like he was having a small
And Falling
festival out
Waters?
there.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
where this was. You know, I'm from Martinsburg, West Virginia, so I'm like from like 15 minutes from.
You said the word like.
Fuck.
Oh, it wasn't like an advertised place. It was a Rainbow Bill,
Jesus Christ. All right.
but it was very much like a small little underground
festy.
hippie getaway type
Oh,
spot.
festy.
Did you guys watch the movie? Something it was called something Woodstock. I can't remember what it was called.
I've never
Starring
seen
Dimitri Martin, and it was about Woodstock and how it started and the
it.
people
Well,
that
it had
ran it.
Dimitri Martin, and
I think
certainly
I saw
didn't watch
parts
it.
of it. What people don't realize though is it was actually quite capitalist. Like they set out
Good thing
to
we're
make
not drinking
money,
when Daniel says like.
you know, and all the bands they refused to play until they were paid. Like they wanted to be paid up front.
Give me a break, man. These people at Woodstock, a lot of these musicians that were there were already really famous.
Oh yeah.
They're not gonna be like, yeah, I'll go to your giant field for free to play for dirty hippies. Of course they want to make money. They've been making money every show they play, they make money.
Oh yeah, they have 500,000. They know the place is making money, you know, and touring's not cheap.
It's not cheap. No, they gotta have roadies. They gotta
Yeah.
pay the crew.
Tech.
They gotta pay all the
Gas,
bills for the
food.
electricity and shit. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what we hated at the Get Down, like how crazy the host of the Get Down Festival last year, 2013, we won't mention any names.
You don't have to.
Even though everybody knows who it is that went to the Get Down. She was being shiesty. But anyway, on to the next topic.
Okay. Also, this week in history is the today,
Today.
75th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I love
One of
it.
the most iconic movies ever made. Turns out they debunked that hanging midget or little person in that one scene. It was
He was-
not a little person.
He was a munchkin. Thank you very much.
It was not a munchkin in that scene that was hanging. What it was a horrible prop of a bird flying.
Oh, I'm really glad they debunked it. That's
Yeah, that's
part
what
of
it was.
what Drinks on Us is debunking the world.
Debunking the world.
One drink at a
It was
time.
not a little person killing themselves.
Well, that's
thankfully.
good to know, because that always like really bothered me for some reason, because you know how I am. But
A
speaking
little
of
morbid in that
hanging,
movie. Right. Okay.
let's move on to this real quick, and we'll get back to our This Week in History. I would like to make a toast on Drinks on Us to the great Robin Williams. Sir,
The best thing he ever did was Jumanji. I'm gonna say right there.
Mrs. Doubtfire was my favorite. And Dead Poet Society.
Yeah.
Never saw. Actually, you know what?
Good Will Hunting.
Good
Any
Will
of
Hunting.
them.
That's the one.
Yeah. But
His last, I think, live on HBO special, the one he did it back in like 2004, 2005.
I saw that one.
That was pretty brilliant.
He's a really funny stand-up comedian, but you gotta have like a lot of energy to watch him. You can't just be
Yeah,
like,
it's
I'm
just super
tired,
exciting
I'm gonna
all the
watch
time.
him. You have to keep up. He talks so fast.
well, I think
Incredible.
Well, I think one of the brilliant things he did in his stand-up, because as much as I love all his movies and his acting, his stand-up's still my favorite, is he kind of imbued you with that energy.
yeah,
Like, he
I
was
agree.
good at
He didn't
getting
show
you-
that in the movies.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Well, what I would like to say, as our listener,
One viewer.
Dan Jones, thank
Dan
you very
Jones.
much, knows, and as I want our, to-be followers to know, anybody that listens in on our show later on, I was in nursing school, and I know myself, I have suffered with mental health disorders, depression, panic disorder. It's something as horrific as Robin Williams' death is. I really hope that it's something that comes to light a little bit more, like the mental health aspect of it, because mental health in America is like so severely underrated. Like I can't drink. I can't even begin to explain, like working at the VA hospital as a student, how there's such a stigma with mental health and how people are expected to be ashamed. Oh, Dan Jones wants to mention that Aladdin was Robin Williams' best movie.
Oh,
I
you
agree,
know what?
Dan Jones.
That's a really good point.
completely agree.
That's
Thank you, Dan.
a really good one.
How
I would
dare
go
you,
check
Dan.
out. I would go check out Crack.com and see their input on Aladdin, and especially their input on the genie played by Robin Williams,
Yes, Genie, your
and
favorite.
how he really is just toying
God
with
bless
humanity.
him.
And it's a very interesting and hilarious,
I
cynical
was-
view on Aladdin.
I'll have to check that out. I'm a big fan of Crack, but I
Love
hadn't
Crack.
seen that. Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's really good.
I think it was part of their After Hours series.
Okay.
But I don't mean to be the cynic here,
Of course
which
you
we
don't.
all know that I am. But if there's something that doesn't happen, it's the death of celebrities bringing any social issue to light. There have been tons of celebrities, actors especially, that die from either drug overdose or suicide, and with mental health issues like beforehand that everyone knew about. It doesn't change anything. It happened to Brittany Murphy, and it happened to what's his face who played the Joker.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
And who was the other?
I mean, Kurt Cobain. We
Kurt
can list
Cobain,
1,000 of them.
Philip
But
Seymour Hoffman. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, Philip C. God bless him too.
People,
but
what people remember isn't the mental health issue. What they remember is
The action.
the acting.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we miss this person being in movies. And honestly, I do miss Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's one of my favorite
he's a
actors.
great actor.
He's one of my favorite. I love him.
Well, one thing people don't realize, and the problem with talking about celebrities and artists and creators in general with their mental health issues and some of the depression and the suicide and everything that goes along with it is something I've actually been thinking about today because Paige mentioned that we might be talking about this, is that a lot of times it's different from the rest of the society. And not in the sense that they're celebrities, but when you're an artist, when you're somebody that incredibly dedicated,
Yeah.
well, not even talented, but dedicated to what you're doing. When, in Robin Williams' case, when it becomes so much of who you are, and you start struggling with that and having trouble with it, you begin to feel like you're losing yourself and losing your identity.
I can get that. I can find that for sure.
I mean, there's this. I mean, we don't know about it, but there's this this lifestyle that we hear about in movies about Hollywood, that it changes you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that absolutely happens.
It does. It has to. There's no way that it can't. But we also recently found out that Robin Williams was suffering from early symptoms of early diagnosed Parkinson's disease.
That's interesting.
And Michael J. Fox was like, I'm stunned to learn, because Michael J. Fox is big on Parkinson's disease because he has it, and like I think
a lot of celebrities do, almost.
Yeah, and I really love Michael J. Fox for putting it in the light like that. But he's like, I'm stunned. I had no idea. I was a friend of Robin's, and I still didn't know. And I think that I know, at least when I was battling my worst fit of depression, because sometimes it comes in phases, and I know that I've suffered with it, and I know numerous people who have suffered with it. It's like people say that suicide. Oh, fuck you. That suicide is like fudge.
Sugar snaps.
It's sugar snaps. It's a selfish thing, but when you feel surrounded in a hole, like you're stuck in a hole like that. I've attempted suicide. I'll just throw it out there. I don't even care. I'm an open book about it because I feel like I can educate people about it. But when you're in that kind of hole and you feel like you can't climb out of it, you're not thinking so much about the people that it's going to affect. You're just trying to rid everyone of your burdens, like every person of your burdens, and it's a difficult thing. And, and I feel like, I know we only have Dan Jones listening right now. God bless you, Dan Jones, for not making me feel useless right now. But, if anybody wants to listen in on this later, I just wanted to throw this little pitch out here. If you need any kind of help, and I wish I would have done this when I was going through my darkest phases, call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. The only time that they'll send anybody out is if you're actively committing suicide or attempting suicide. I think that's it. It wouldn't be there if it didn't help people. It wouldn't exist if it didn't help. So let's just wrap up the Robin Williams thing. God bless him. He was a great comedian. He's a fucking hysterical, funny guy. I loved watching his stuff. Hook, like all of them, they're great. Aladdin, you can't beat the genie.
Hook makes you laugh not because of Robin Williams, because of Dustin Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was pretty brilliant.
And I don't know if you guys realize, I'm going on a huge tangent here, but Hook was a dark-ass movie.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if you
about
really
growing up.
realize
Yeah.
how dark that movie was. People are murdered left and right in that movie. People are dying. That's a Disney
I love
movie.
when he makes them
People are
weird,
dying
though.
constantly.
Well, Disney movies are actually pretty dark, or they were.
They were, but Hook, since it was live action, remember the baseball scene?
Yeah.
Remember they're playing baseball, they got the music playing, everyone's in the costume. They don't know how to play baseball. They're pirates in Neverland. The kid had to teach them how to play baseball.
Yeah.
So the dude starts stealing a base, pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
Shoots the guy stealing a base. And he's like, oh, bad form. But play on because, it's a game.
It's baseball. It's the American pastime.
Crazy shit happens in that movie. And then Hook tries to kill himself. Do you remember this? Do you remember Hook trying to kill himself?
Which is quite ironic considering it's a Robin Williams film.
Right. It is. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm tying it all together, baby.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm bringing it back around. No, Hook tries to kill himself, and it's basically a call for attention because it's like, Shmee, stop me, Shmee, stop me. Fucking Shmee is a real name, apparently.
Well,
Dan Jones says Hook, of course.
Of course.
You bring back the suicide with Robin Williams. I hate
of course,
to press
Hook.
the conversation again.
And
but,
this is where we tie into the Great Depression.
There we go. Don't mention it.
But, as an artist, and it's something I've brought, you start to feel like the only thing you are is the thing you create and the thing you do.
I know you've struggled with that as an artist, like as an actual artist, yeah.
You start to not have any identity outside of what you create.
In the words of Batman.
Oh, good fucking God, no.
Dan,
Dan, please tweet about this.
It's really the words of Rachel Dawes, but Batman says it, and it's really dramatic. It's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
God bless
Well, exactly.
You are what you love, not who loves you. I love Fall Out Boy.
Well, it's a brilliant, quote, and it sums up, as a creator, as an artist, what happens happens is you get so lost in the act of creation and the product and whatever it is that you do, whether it's a, painting, whether it's, acting or a movie, that everything else, people talk about, well, they had so much, they had the money, they had the fame, but it's never really about that when you're a true creator. It's only about the product. All that other stuff, it's,
There's this amazing movie called Cold Souls, and it stars Paul Giamatti, who is another one of my favorite actors. Love him. And he plays himself, and it's a sci-fi movie, so it's not like set in the real world. But, like it starts in the real world, but it goes off into a place that obviously isn't real. But he starts off acting in plays, because that's what he does with a lot of his time. He acts in plays, and he's just not feeling it anymore. But the first 10 minutes of the movie is him acting in a play or in an audition or a rehearsal, and realizing that he doesn't feel it in his heart like he used to. But you could see the way that he's acting, that he's projecting that emptiness in his acting. And it's really powerful to watch. He's an incredible actor.
I'll have to check
which is
that
why I like
out.
it. I'll lend you the DVD. I have it over here. But it's really that's what you were making me think about, because I was thinking about him in the beginning of the movie. He's just such the way that he moves. He's just an incredible actor. I loved it.
All right, moving on. Next
Okay,
topic.
the last thing on this day in history, Hawaii became the 50th state of the United States. The final edition, we have a half state, Puerto Rico, but the 50th state.
Half state.
They're
A
about-
half-ass state.
Excuse me. Yes, they're about a half-assed state, but we give them
God
stuff.
bless Hawaii.
They're kind
and
of
their
like a
pineapples.
slacker little brother.
We're like,
Yeah.
you guys, you don't necessarily have to abide by our
Taxation
laws,
without
but
representation. Kind of do.
if any, you're
We're
ours.
gonna send all
we
the
own
aliens
you.
there.
They're kind of like that strange cousin that shows up to
At the
holidays.
family reunions,
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're
All right.
related to you.
Yay, Hawaii.
All right.
Something I would like to talk about, and I know you guys are going to be super disgusted with this. I made my list on my tablet,
Mhm.
and it's in my sketchbook, so it's in my handwriting, and I can hardly even read it. Yay, left-handed.
Disgustingly messy handwriting.
Shut up, sir. You're marrying me. Shut up.
Doesn't have to,
I would like to
demon
talk
shit.
about
You
the
sir are
fucking.
a fool.
Fuck you.
That was messed up.
I'd like to talk about the crazy ass Duggars family. The Duggar family with their 19 kids and counting shit on TLC.
First, let me ask you: is this show still on television?
Yes, it is. It's on
Okay.
TLC.
TLC, and it's about.
It's about 19 kids and their parents, and one of the girls, Jessa Duggar, has just recently got engaged. Congrats to you,
How old is
Jessa Duggar.
Jessa?
She's 22.
22.
The thing that I find uncomfortable about the entire situation with Duggars, because I was super Googling it today. Thank you, Google. Okay, so we all know that they grow up in a very conservative home. It's very Christian based. They believe that God has provided them with 19 children. Blah blah blah. Great, love it. I'm not judging you for
We
that.
didn't have sex to have these kids.
But
It was our great leader.
the thing that we're not on North Korea yet. We'll get there. North Korea is hilarious, guys. Wait for that one. Or, by guys, I mean Dan Jones. God bless you, Dan Jones. No, the Duggars really disturb. What? No, he's not. He's listening because he's live chat. He's live tweeting. Yay,
That's what
Dan!
we want. We want the live tweets.
No, what really disturbs me about the Duggars is I was reading today on peoplemagazine.com. Don't judge me. They don't even hold hands until they're engaged.
Now, I knew about this, and they would go on vacations with a chaperone.
Yeah, they go. Every date is chaperone.
Every date is chaperone. They do not have
Even by
any
their younger
contact,
siblings.
really.
Yeah, they do this half hug thing.
Right.
It's really
The
half.
pictures are super awkward.
I know.
It's really weird.
Well, I was
don't know
looking
why-
at her.
I thought you showed me
Instagram.
this. I'm starting to think you didn't. Someone
I
else
think I
probably
did.
You might have a long time ago. I haven't been together that long,
I was
but it's a
looking
long
at
time.
Jessa. I was actually looking at Jessa's younger sister, Jill, who got married in June.
Mhm.
She and her husband got married in June, and it's they look like teenagers when they're interacting with each other because they never really interacted until after they got married. They saved their first kiss for marriage.
That's strange. See,
That's so
super
weird
strange.
to me. I can understand the holding off sex part.
You know
I
what?
totally get that.
You know what? I'm going to go in
I'm
another
fine with
direction here because the holding off the first kiss, that's
So
if
that's
you grew up-
dedication
it
right
is
there.
dedication. If you grew up in that religious house, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they're waiting for the minister to tell them you may now kiss the bride.
Yeah.
That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah,
The permission from the church.
the permission from God.
That's what
Essentially.
that's essentially
Yeah,
that's
and
what they
that
waited
is
for.
so. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, guys.
Now, I recently had a friend who was with the same girl for a very, very, very long time and had never had sex with anybody else and was sure as shit that he was going to marry that girl. And I was like, so you're planning to spend your entire life with the only person you have ever had sex with? Ever. Now, these people never even kissed anybody else, let alone hold hands.
Like, I think that's so. I think it's
It's weird.
like after reading excerpts from their book and stuff. Like they talk about godly men don't want to marry ungodly women, and okay, I get that. Like I can fuck with that for sure. But like I'm such a horrible person. Like
If they've written a book, how self-aware are these people? How
that's the thing
self-aware?
is, I don't think that these children are, and I think that they're
But
like
they've
missing
gotta
out on
be.
things.
They've got to be if they're writing a book
But then
and
again,
they know how like rare it is. They've got to be self-aware.
But then again, these kids are growing up in, you know, a family, almost in a culture that doesn't have that awareness of what sexuality is or meant to be. I mean, to a
Yeah.
certain degree, you know, we make a big deal of it because, you know, you always bring up, well, how do you know you're going to enjoy having sex with this person? Because we have this cultural
It's not even about
concept
that.
of what sex should be.
We
Yeah.
consider it something that should be enjoyed throughout life instead of something just for recreation.
Well,
Well, how do we know
reproduction? I mean,
Well, how do we know these people aren't going to? Because they enjoy it in a different way. It's hard
we're
to
more
comment on
concerned about making sure they do enjoy it.
exactly.
Well, I'm
exactly.
gonna. One of the things that they actually were interviewed by Cosmopolitan magazine. What the fuck, guys? What the fuck? Hashtag.
Why
what
would
the
they
fuck.
waste their time?
And apparently, what one of the girls said, and I'll tell you in just a second as soon as the lid's on my phone.
Excuse me, I just burped.
So it says, so Cosmopolitan asks, so you've never kissed anyone? Stop ads, I don't care about you. And Jessa Duggar, the one that is newly engaged, that she says, nope, well, I mean, my brothers. I think all of us girls have really purposed to save our first kiss for our wedding day. So then Cosmo goes, have you ever been curious about what it's like? And Jess is like, I can't say I haven't been, but the anticipation, the suspense, it's like Christmas morning, you know, open the special package, it'll be so fun. So, you know, I mean, the girls understand what sex is. They totally get it. I mean, one of them is married, one of them is engaged now, but, you know, I think they have desires. It's not like it's not there, but I think that you know, the Bible teachings and everything are so ingrained into them that they can't help but, like, those are, like, constantly in the back of their head, like, they got the Bible
I
back.
can't say that someone who hasn't had sex by the time they're 22 understands what sex is.
No, I mean, understands in the straightforward, this is what sex
The
does.
scientific, like,
Yeah, this not
penis
necessarily how
inside
they're
the
enjoying
vagina.
under the
but,
vagina.
but what,
And apparently it feels good.
But
I
there's,
don't know.
there's also no outside conceptions or expectations of what that first time should be because of how isolated
Super isolated.
You know,
quick shout out to Dan Jones.
their
Sorry.
ideas and, you know.
He says test drive before you buy.
That's right.
Our
Always
favorite
test
thing.
But we have
Dan-
a different conception
Dan,
of
get other people to listen.
sexuality because, you know, from the time you're 12, 13, sex is no big deal. And I'm not saying that, you know, either side's right or wrong. You know, whatever you believe, whatever makes you happy, you know.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Like this they call it courtship. It's not dating in the general sense of the term. Like, Brett, you and I dated, you know, and now we're engaged. But like, it's a,
Like.
it's. God, I hate myself right now. They're chaperoned, even by their younger siblings. Like, because I mean, there's 19 fucking kids. Like,
Said
there's
like
always
again.
a chaperone. Jesus.
You know what? You say it so fast. It's incredible. Like you slide it in there. Like it's not even like you're taking a breath between sentences. You just it becomes, it's. I hardly pick up on it. I'm listening really
It's
hard
because
when you
I say
talk.
it all the time and you're around me. So
Stop
much.
talking so don't say it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, thanks.
Dan will relate to this. We've got a coworker who recently got a girlfriend for the first time in his life. He is 19 years old.
I know who you're talking
Don't
about.
say his
I'm
name.
not. I love him.
It was also his first kiss since elementary school.
Aww.
So we're all
Congrats,
very, very,
my friend.
very happy for him. And for some reason, it's weird. I've told Dan this, but I'm going to tell you guys. He's a really nice guy. He's super nice.
I'm just laughing at Dan _Jones 1986. God bless you,
That's
Dan
him.
Jones.
Shout out.
Thanks for all the shout outs. I'm so glad we have at least one listener. It makes me happy.
He's really cool. He's not that younger than me. You know, he's 19.
Yeah,
almost 26.
He's kind of a baby.
A little bit. But he's like, "Are you proud of me?" and whatnot. And I'm like, "Why do you care?" He's like, "Because I want you to respect me. I want my coworkers to respect me and like me and stuff." I'm like, and I'm gonna tell you this, Paige. I said, "I won't be proud of you until you get your dick wet."
Oh, you're such a horrible person. What?
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible.
It's hilarious. And you know what? He just laughed it off. He knew I was kidding.
You know,
It
here's
was
the
great.
thing with the Duggars. Like, people give them a wrath of shit all the time because of their Christian values and their conservative attitudes. If they're fucking happy, who the fuck cares? You know, like, they're doing it right. They got a fucking TLC
You know what the thing is?
show.
You know what the thing is? It's not even if they're happy, who cares? Even if they weren't happy, who are we to step in and tell them that they're doing it
No,
wrong?
I mean,
Well,
I
it doesn't
commend
bother
them
me
to an extent because I don't have that
because-
kind of self-control. Fuck that. I can't do that. No
You know
sex.
what? Live your life the way you live your life. These guys aren't out there like protesting everybody else and condemning everybody else for the way they're living their life. So whatever.
Yeah, they're not the West Baptist Church.
Yeah, I can kind of understand the idea of holding off from sex because I've kind of been getting that way. You know, it's like I've had a lot of friends be like, "Oh, that chick's open." One's younger than me. It's like, "Oh, you should go for that girl. You should go." And it's like, yeah, I mean, she's cute. It'd probably be fun, but it's, I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking for something emotionally deeper.
What I'm glad about them doing is that since they do not focus at all on the sex or the physical
They get
aspect
to
of the
know each
relationship,
other.
Yeah.
they focus only on the emotional aspect of the relationship, which I think is
Lacking in our society a lot.
it's lacking.
Yeah.
But what I want to say when I'm measuring importance, physical and emotional, I don't know if it's exactly 50-50. You know what I mean?
Truth.
Emotional is probably about 70, if I would say. But physical, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, is
You
important.
can make a physical thing work. You can make it, like, unless you're completely
you can try all kinds
not
of things.
physically attracted to each other whatsoever. But in that case, you wouldn't be getting married to that person anyway.
Right.
Well,
You know
it's
what I
one
mean?
of those things where all the elements make it that much better, you know, physical, emotional, mental. I mean, you can have any one of those elements be really good. But if the others aren't there, yeah, the first few, you know, opening entrance of it will be really good, but everything else just kind of fades. You need that kind of balance there of all the pieces.
I think the only thing that I disagree, and this is my last thing on the Duggars,
You
and we'll
said
move on, because we've
Said
still
like
got...
during that.
God damn it. We'll move on from the Duggars after this, because we still have a few more. I know Brett wants to get through a few more topics.
Just to be clear, every time the page says the word like,
You wanna kill
everybody
yourself?
has to drink.
Yeah, that's truth. Including you listeners, Dan Jones, which I know you're not drinking because Elijah's in bed.
And one
Elijah's my little
there's one
boyfriend,
other
Dan
listener right now.
Jones's son, and they've got another baby on the way, and God bless them.
I
love
saw Elijah today.
I hate you.
He was mad at me.
Of course he was.
Well, Dan was mad at me, so naturally.
Pause.
the
We'll
apple
finish this
doesn't
story
fall
in a
far from the
second.
tree.
But the last thing I want to say on the Duggars, the only thing that I don't like about the Duggars is their very strong opinions about any kind of birth control. I don't think that that's fair for them to say that, you know, because I use birth control personally, I'm not a good person or I'm not holy or anything. Like, I personally, you know, I mean, I'm not going to put all of Brett and mine's business out there, but we're on birth control for multiple reasons. Like, I'm on birth control for multiple reasons. Not only to prevent having babies that I'm not ready for, even though I want them and Brett won't let me have them.
I love birth control. And now, not necessarily birth control, but the issue of birth control, and because it's, I feel like it's an intersect of society, because about 90% of the world is religious, and most of those religious people believe that birth control is wrong. Now, also on the other side of the spectrum, you've got population, like the scientific aspect. So
yeah, that's true.
You got the religious people, there's the mystical aspect, and you got the scientific aspect. And honestly, our population is out of fucking control.
It is. It's true.
Absolutely.
And birth control is free now. Like, I don't pay anything for my birth control. There's no reason to not be able to have Planned Parenthood. Like, not the, corporation Planned Parenthood, but not to be able to plan when you're ready to have children. But, I mean, plenty of women take birth control for reasons other than just preventing sex or preventing pregnancy.
I wasn't even finished.
Well,
I was going to keep going on this.
No, because we don't have
I
time
just
for
wish
that.
they had male birth control.
They do. It's called a condom.
A vasectomy.
Well, yeah, but that's a little invasive.
It's very extreme too.
Yeah,
there's no simple way besides.
I mean, I know myself.
There's spermicide
Oh my God.
and all kinds of things, but
yeah, I
always
wish
about the guys.
but it's not
like,
for the guy.
always
That's
about
like
the
for the
guys.
woman.
I wish I
Don't
had
have
like
to put
the
it in,
option
so.
like women have of taking a daily pill and then not having to worry
That's
about
why we take our daily
There are
pill, or in my
things-
case, have the NuvaRing.
Google it. There are absolutely things that will lower your sperm count.
Oh my God, like
it.
grapefruit.
Lower is a whole lot different than prevent.
Now, if you look up all those things, excuse me, I'm drinking
We're
a carbonated
still fucking
beverage.
hung up on the Duggars right now.
If you look up all those things that will lower your sperm count,
Grapefruit.
you can compound on those activities. So if you, let's say, I don't know if grapefruit is one, but if you,
I don't know.
if it is,
It's a fix-all for everything.
probably not. But if it is, if anything is, okay, do that thing. Okay, that lowers a little bit. Do something else. That lowers a little bit. Masturbate more. That lowers
Oh
a
my
little
God.
bit.
Yeah,
Yellow
ew,
number
that's
5.
gross.
Any food that's got yellow number 5, that lowers it a little bit.
actually, masturbation you're incorrect on.
Fuck.
Because
Moving on, next topic.
well, no, real quick.
I wanted to go on about birth control in society for a second.
Because while it may to a slight
I'm done, guys. I'm done.
extent
sit here and drink
decrease
my
sperm count, what it does is gets rid of the dead useless sperm. So then the next time all the sperm are like all
Super-
like active,
super
like we
sperm.
don't get that egg.
Wait a second. So if I masturbate
Good thing
more,
Brett doesn't have to masturbate.
it's a good thing,
because,
but it might be a bad thing.
not
It might
bad.
be a bad thing that I don't masturbate. Because listen, if masturbation gets rid of the useless, crappy sperm,
You know, the old sperm.
right, the old ones.
Ew, that's just
Right?
gross.
But wait, let me explore this for a second, because I'm pretty sure if Dan's still listening, he knows exactly where I'm going.
Is he still listening?
Yes, he is.
Yay, Dan Jones.
Now, if masturbation
shout-outs.
gets rid of the crappy, old, useless sperm, right?
Yeah.
And if I masturbate as much as I can, now I know there's a limit to how much you can a day, because people have died because they've masturbated too much. And also there's a limit, just physically, like
Thanks,
depending on each
Kevin.
person, like how much can you go a day? Like, there's only so much
Yeah.
you take, right? But let's say I masturbated enough to get rid of all of that useless sperm, and even to the point where I ran out of useless sperm and was starting to get rid of even good ones, but the better ones were left. If I had a baby at that point, right,
Ew.
would that baby be like the smartest, the
Oh my
strongest,
God.
the
No,
fastest?
it wouldn't be.
It would be the $6 million man.
Well, not necessarily, because just
That
because
baby
it
would be
contains the
incredible.
best genes doesn't mean it's the best sperm.
Oh, okay, so you're
Can you hear
saying like,
Daniel?
okay, yeah. So you're saying like stronger genes have nothing to do with how old it is.
Yeah, it's more like the broken tails on the thing.
You
You
would
know.
lose the race.
The newer one, exactly.
That's right.
Like,
It would lose the
it's
race.
kind of like the nerd sperm.
There's no race when it's just.
Oh my
after.
God, I'm so done with this
Yeah.
topic. Like, I'm not allowed to pick topics anymore, guys, because it just turns into
Well,
a fucking, like,
Pick this
rant.
topic. Anyways, I wanted to go on a social issue here, and I'm serious about this. This is about
Are
religion
you-
versus
okay.
science.
Are you
Religion versus science having to do with birth control.
serious? Ew.
Now we're talking about how important it is to us as a
I'm
civilization.
getting drunk.
we are a global civilization, right? Now, are we going to take our religion so seriously where we will write off birth control because we think it's wrong based on our religion, but scientifically we know it is unsustainable to continue life on Earth for human beings without birth control.
Oh my God.
We cannot provide the food or the energy. This is what I'm saying. So if there was no birth control, if they got what they wanted and there was no birth control, we would run out of resources in 100 years, 200 years.
All right.
Population would grow exponentially. If every time someone had sex, 60% of the time someone's getting pregnant, it's incredible.
Well, luckily agnosticism and atheism are on the rise.
Tell me about it.
All right, so
Incredible.
moving on to our next topic real quick. Daniel, did you have any topics that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk. What do you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
what do you want to talk about? You're our guest. We're supposed to be commandeering to you.
I mean, I'm just kind of going with the
Commandeer.
flow of the thing.
I'm getting tipsy.
I know what it
guys.
means, but I don't know how you meant it.
Supposed to be catering to you.
There you go.
Let me open this other beer because I know I'm going to say like again. Ooh, that's
I'll be
nice.
completely honest, I had not really thought about it.
That's fine, because all we're here to do is present ideas for you to talk to us about. It's just things that happened in this last week that we
So,
wrote down, we
Daniel.
took notes on,
I
and
did
we
get
talked
to
about it.
I did get to see the Alex Gray paintings.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. Daniel is a professional artist. He also does tattoos.
Is
Dan
there
Jones, no, you can't have one.
a website or anything you'd like to plug?
Facebook.com/RioArt. RIOUX art.com.
Daniel, is Dan still listening?
I don't know, we lost 2 viewers.
Oh.
But, so, do we have any viewers?
We have 1.
All
Dan
right.
Jones. Dan
Probably.
Jones, are you still listening?
Probably.
I want to tweet.
So, okay,
So,
so
but-
that's your...
I mean, it was at the American Visionary Arts Museum up in Baltimore.
Oh, very cool.
But looking at his pieces, it was really fun to try and dissect like how he created it. And
Oh my God, the screen is so analytical right now. I love it. Go for it. I'm all
But-
about it.
you know, his artwork's very deliberate. Everybody makes a big deal about him being a painter, but his painting technique isn't. It's Alex
Are you gonna
Gray's
burp,
work.
Brett?
That's been perfect.
His painting technique isn't anything overly unique. It's not like looking at the Renaissance masters and the way they painted and the way they rendered, but it's the totality of the design, the
It's
way.
the content
Yeah,
that's important.
it's the intricacy and the deliberateness.
Mhm.
Everything that he does is very specific.
Now, what's his name again?
Alex Gray.
Alex
I
Gray.
love Alex
He is
Gray.
an easy name to remember.
So-
And he does amazing
Are you
art.
familiar
Google
with
him,
any of
Alex
his art?
Gray. Guys.
Absolutely not.
He does very visionary, spiritual, almost psychedelic art.
I gotta say, Daniel, I despise the word spiritual.
I do too. Honestly, I do too.
Despise it.
I do too.
I think, can I just pause for a second to say, I think next time we have Daniel on the show, which I'm sure will happen again, that we should have him, our pick your poison word should be honestly from Daniel.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, moving on. Play, continue.
I kind of agree with you on the word spiritual because, I've dealt with a lot of dirty hippies being in the festival scene and
Why don't you tell me about what you're a felon for?
My problem is that people use that word as a substitute for religion,
exactly.
and it really bothers me
Yeah.
that they
Exactly.
will not own
I'm
up
a
to the fact
spiritual person,
that they have a
and I do
religion,
yoga.
and they don't realize
I'm
that
getting
it doesn't
drunk,
have
Dan
to be
Jones.
organized religion
Tweet about
to
that.
do religion.
Well, I almost think it's worse than organized
Introduce you,
religion
baby.
in some
Nothing
instances
worse in the world
because,
than organized religion.
well, here's
All right,
why.
so I really hope we don't have any super religious people listening. Are you laughing at yourself right now,
Yes,
sir?
because I just got super opinionated.
Well,
Continue.
here's my
I give
my
up.
problem,
Alright,
and
drinks
grant me
on us.
this, of spiritualism versus religion or organized religion,
How many listeners do we have?
is at least most organized
Fuck you, Dan
religions
Jones. I
with-
love you.
in the belief there's a set system. This is what we all believe. Whether it's right, wrong,
Keep going,
Yeah.
Daniel.
but when it comes to the spirituality thing, it's almost you can make up whatever you want. You can bastardize science however you want.
I feel
can
you,
pick
though,
and choose
like-
from all these different religions. So
Yeah.
because it becomes
I
almost
get
this
it.
organized
I'm fine with
religion of one. That it's
It's the extremity. It's the most extreme
This is
version
getting like way too intense for Paige.
religion is what you're saying.
yeah, it's
Making my palms
It's a
sweat,
spiritualism.
actually.
this completely subjective
I
view,
feel like I need to
of
lose these
reality.
pants.
Entirely subjective.
you know, and it's sad because they pull a lot of things that, you know, could be very valuable to progressing yourself. You know, there is a lot of good in things like in the concepts behind Buddhism and the concepts behind Hinduism. You know, even in what Christ was trying to teach and, you know, living as a good person.
Oh my God,
and-
too
No, wait,
intense.
let me take this somewhere else. What's funny about that is
Too intense for
look
drinks
at all
on
these
us.
spots for me just tapping the pen.
Wow, you've ruined our tablecloth. Thank you, boo.
Well, it's pretty old, actually.
Actually, Daniel ruined it last time he did a tattoo.
That might be what that is. Thanks, Daniel.
Actually, it was Paige for not putting
Thanks
down
for coming back to
Yeah.
bring us a new tablecloth. Where is it? Where is
Oh,
our
I forgot.
Because all we have is a baby
something-
blue one
something
and
else
a
I wanna
hot
bring
pink
up.
one.
All right,
a new
well,
topic. I'm sorry, I
I wanted
can't
to hear
handle
what
this
he
topic
had to
anymore.
say first.
All right, Daniel.
I don't remember.
All right.
I don't
Okay.
remember what I was talking
A
about.
new topic that I want to bring up because I feel like this was getting way too heated. I can't handle the whole like religion talk. I literally can't, especially when I'm like.
I love it.
preaching.
I'll argue
Me
it all.
too.
Then you two can start your own fucking podcast because this one
Or
has
maybe
Paige.
we'll just talk tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. So another topic I wanted to bring up that's been like super crazy intense. Facebook Messenger.
Now let me
Let's
hear about
talk
this.
About this.
Let me tell you something else. If there's anything the government is going to learn from you from your Facebook messages, it already knows. The
I mean,
government
I can
isn't
talk
it,
with
all
that.
right? And it doesn't forget anything. It doesn't. It learns constantly.
Well,
Okay.
according to
And
Yahoo
it does
Finance,
not ever underestimate the insignificance of a human being.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're not
Yahoo
devoting the
Finance-
resources to what's going on my phone.
Facebook has actually lost stock since
Good.
they started the Facebook
I
Messenger.
fucking hope they
Dan
go back.
Jones, tweet me and tell me what you think about the FB Messenger, because I know you have it on your phone, you crazy fuck. But
I don't actually. But the funny
I don't
thing is,
either. I refuse to
I got a new
download it.
computer. I got a Chromebook, right? Google Chrome. I got a Chromebook. I love it. It's actually really convenient. Everything's really easy and simple. It's very much like Windows, not Mac. It's very much like Windows, but it's very simple to have.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's true, except you can't download Skype on it.
There
I
are
remember that.
there are certain programs I cannot have on it. That's right. It's limited to the amount of programs, or not the amount, but the type.
Hashtag
Excuse me.
I had to start a Google Plus account
type
so that
of
I could
programs
talk to
you could
this
have.
fucker.
You know, you're happy you did that. But every time something pops up,
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, allow locations, allow
Yeah,
whatever.
but that's like a MacBook.
The thing is, I feel like I've turned a
Mine.
new leaf in my life because you know how paranoid I can be,
Oh my
and
god.
like you know that it's
Sorry.
like it's bad. It's not like, oh, Brett's a little paranoid, like bad. And I've just been like, yeah, go for it. Look, allow this, allow that. You know, connect this, sync that. That's okay. It's just my computer, and I'm just internet searching and stuff. It's great. And you know what? The computer's fantastic. And the government, I realized, if they wanted any information about me, they would have it.
All right. Well, this is what Dan
Well-
Jones thinks about the Facebook Messenger. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Daniel. First off, Dan Jones says he would like. He's chiming in. He wants to talk about the ALS challenge, which I will explain to you too, because I don't know if you know what it is.
I want to say something first.
Hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. Well, I mean, we'll get to the ALS challenge in a minute. Hold on, Dan Jones. I know you only got 7 minutes, but he says, I think it does everything any other app does if you read the permissions at drinksonus_. So, I mean, I have not used it. I will not use it because I don't need, really the only reason is because I don't have room on my phone for another app. That's really the only reason why I won't download it.
What I'm saying is, I know that they will absolutely gather that information without issue. Like, they will just get it. If they want it, they will get it.
Yeah, they can find it anyway.
I'm not
got
condoning
this.
what the government does. when they read everybody's emails, listen to their phone calls, read their text messages. I know that they do it. I am not okay with that at all. What I'm saying is, like, if it's going to make my computer run faster, if it's going to make my life easier with my internet and everything that my computer does for me, like, I'm going to allow that information to be shared. The thing is, I'm not condoning it, and I know how, like, ridiculous that sounds, where you're like, oh, they already, I've got nothing to hide, let them listen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't condone it. I'm not going to allow them to pass any bills to make it easier for them.
Well,
they're going to do anything they want, you know what I mean?
Well, it's about being aware of what you're giving them. My dad's a network engineer.
Truth.
He works
God
on
bless you, Wayne.
some of the higher up levels of the internet connection in this country, and he has before. And he's like, if you just got to be aware of what you're putting out there. If you don't want something known, if you don't want something saved,
I mean, that's the simplest
don't
thing
put
about
it onto
it.
these networks. You're a fool if you don't think somebody's saving this or it's being stashed somewhere with, and honestly, the government's not even the biggest thing. There's a lot of other people out there that aren't the government. The government doesn't care about most individuals.
That's true.
And as somebody that's been in some shadier parts of life, you shouldn't be putting that shit out there anyways.
That's true.
But
when it comes to government, nobody should ever be afraid of proclaiming themselves as a proud American, as a gun-owning, someone who's tried drugs in the past, somebody who's either really liberal or really conservative. You should always be proud of what you are. You're an American. You have free speech.
Absolutely.
Right now, you have free speech.
But you also need to be thankful for those things that you have, because not a lot of countries have it.
Don't believe the federal government's really interested in going after small-time or petty bullshit.
Yeah, it's true.
I see where there's certain abuses of power, and yeah, it's a problem. But I've also read a lot of articles where, a lot of the people that actually really understand the way these systems work aren't worried so much about the government having it, about what the government's going to do with it, but the fact that it's sitting around for other people to access nefariously.
Now, talking about governments, let me segue.
We have to get Dan's. We have to get Dan's ALS thing in there.
All right, Dan. What the hell is ALS?
Okay, so the ALS challenge. He's only going to stay on for 3 more minutes, man.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
It's Lou Gehrig's disease. All right, and the ALS challenge is something that's been hitting up Facebook like crazy. Thank you, Dan Jones, for this topic. I love live tweets. And it's called the Ice Bucket Challenge. And what it is you stand there and either you or somebody else dumps a bucket of ice water over you, and it's supposed to donate money to the Lou Gehrig's Disease Foundation or ALS Foundation. I'm not sure.
Just for dumping water on you?
The Ice Bucket Challenge. Is that what you're talking about, Dan Jones?
And what exactly is Lou Gehrig's disease? Lou
Gehrig's disease is it's a disorder. It's a mental, not a mental health. That's not true. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
Makes
I'm
sense.
so drunk.
That makes sense.
It's a disease of nerves. It's a nerve cell
disease
and spinal cord disease that control voluntary muscle movements. So like the twitching, it causes you to twitch. It's Lou Gehrig, the basketball player.
All right. So what you're saying, it's like Parkinson's, but different somehow.
Yeah, it's totally different.
I'm sure it is different.
It's a motor neuron disease. Thank you, Wikipedia. I mean, I was in nursing school. I remember talking about Lou Gehrig's briefly, but I was probably high. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get high while I was in nursing school. Lou Gehrig's disease is a neurodegenerative disease with various causes. It is characterized by muscle spasticity. Ooh, I cannot talk. Rapidly progressive weakness due to muscular atrophy, difficulty in speaking, dysarrhythmia, swallowing, dysphagia, and breathing, dyspnea.
Okay, so what does that have to do with Facebook?
Okay, so what's happened is there's this thing called the ALS Challenge, and I've seen a couple of my Facebook friends post it, and it's from what I've gotten, it's videos of them. Lou Gehrig is baseball. Sorry, not basketball. Thank you, Dan Jones.
Fucked up.
I fucked up. Sorry, Dan Jones. This is your topic, and I'm fucking it up. The ice bucket challenge is where you dump a bottle or a bucket of water on yourself, apparently, and like so much money is donated to the Lou Gehrig's disease
Who donates
foundation.
the money?
That's the thing, is that apparently I don't know really that much about it. I've just seen a few videos on it. Dan Jones, can you fill us in via your live?
I don't
feeds?
understand how dumping
I
a
only
bucket
have
of
3
water
minutes,
on
but-
somebody. I get how that's why it's done in sports. The players dump the water on either the MVP or the coach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who's donating the money?
That's what okay, so buckets of money. This is from
I'm not going to donate money because someone dumps a bucket of water.
Okay,
on
so
somebody.
the ALS. This is from the ALSA.org. Sorry, ALS Ice Bucket Challenge takes U.S. by storm. The ALS Association. So let's see what they have to say. This was posted on August 12th, 2014. In the last 2 weeks, the Ice Bucket Challenge has quite literally soaked the nation. Everyone from Ethel Kennedy to Justin Timberlake has poured a bucket of ice over his or her head, and challenged others to do the same by making a donation to fight ALS within 24 hours. I'm trying to see. Let me look real quick. I'm just searching real quick. Sorry, Dan Jones. I know this was your thing.
Okay, so the person who dumps the water is the one donating. Like, you dump the water on your own head, you're donating money.
Yeah, you're donating money, and you're challenged by other people. Like, people tag you.
Okay,
in these posts.
that's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I think
a great
it's
way
a
to
great
do it.
idea. Like, I really didn't know that much about it. Now I'm going to tag Dan Jones. I'm going to post this shit on Facebook. He's got to do the
I swear
Ice
to
Bucket
God,
Challenge.
if he challenges you and you dump a bucket of water on your head anywhere in this apartment except the shower,
What about the back porch?
that's fine, I guess.
That just
Don't
reminds
do
me
it.
of bad memories.
Don't do it in the fucking living room.
At a
I
house,
will not.
and
You're
one of my
getting
roommates, I
tipsy.
was taking a shower,
Drinks on us, baby.
and we had kind of escalated a prank war at this point, me and my roommate.
It's out of hand
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, well, I was in the shower, and he decided to dump a bucket of ice on me. Well, the ice froze together like it had melted, but then it
Right.
froze itself back together. So he came in, and I'm in the shower. He dumps this thing on me. I don't get hit with like a whole bunch of ice cubes.
This isn't for the
It's
I
like
ALS.
get
What?
cracked in the head with just a solid bucket of ice.
Alright, so apparently what
Next
you're
thing I know, I
supposed to
chased him out the
do-
bathroom, completely naked.
I'm sure you were.
Apparently
He shut the
1.12.
door, and I put my fist through the door.
We had a door in one of my houses when I used to live in Indiana. We had a door that
Fuck
was
Indiana.
specifically for punching.
Okay, so I
You're
just
just
want to.
punching. You can't see me, people. I'm pantomiming.
I want to throw this out there.
Just
The
punch it every day.
ALS Ice Bucket Challenge has raised $4 million.
That's
in
so much
donations.
better than a Kickstarter. I'm proud of them.
The ALS
do it through
Association
social
is
networking.
incredibly grateful for the outpouring of support from those who. Yeah, I mean that's great. Like I love it. Unfortunately,
You said like.
I don't really know.
You
that much
said
about
like.
it. Fuck you.
Well, you're not supposed to say it.
I think it's great. Like I mean ALS.
Like.
Is, God damn it, Dan Jones. This is all your fault.
We need to get
Paige, you wanted this.
like one of those shock collars.
What
we need
Every
is a
time
buzzer.
She says
I need like a bell here to ding every
All
time
right,
she
guys.
says it.
Sorry, Dan Jones, that I really disappointed you with
Well,
our,
you know
ALS
what? We
thing. I
said-
didn't really know that much about
We
it.
said a few keywords. Hopefully people hear like Lou Gehrig's and
You didn't
some
let us
other-
discuss our religion thing.
All right. Well,
just-
Dan Jones is heading out for the night. Thank you, Dan Jones, for being our
hey, thanks,
true
Dan
listener
Jones.
this evening. I really appreciate it. Brett will give you a big sloppy kiss at work.
That's right. I will.
I'll wank you off. Whatever. Anyway.
Whatever we do in the back room, you know.
It
in the-
happens
in
in the
the-
back room,
stays
stays in the
back
back
room.
room.
I know I personally need a moment to pee because I am drunk thanks to Drinks on Us. You guys go ahead. I kind of need a ciggy too, but I don't
Now
know
there's
what.
something I want to talk about with you, Dan.
All right.
You've just recently played the game Plague Inc.,
Ah,
right?
yes. How did you like Plague
Which game?
Inc? Plague
Plague
Inc.
Inc.
Where you're infecting the whole world.
Oh,
Yeah, infecting the world with a disease and kill
it was
everybody.
quite interesting.
You beat it, right? You killed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was on easy mode.
That's fine. And you're
By
on
the way,
virus.
guys, our
Yeah.
first episode is going to probably be about an hour and a half long. The next ones will be about an hour. Sorry, guys. Love you. Bye.
I mean, I kind of just figured at this point we just keep going.
We don't have anybody listening.
What I want to talk about is, did that game like scare you at all? You know what I mean? Because one of the first times I played that game, I remember playing and creating that disease, right?
Mhm.
And thinking in the most sadistic way, how can I infect and then kill everybody in the world? 6.8 something billion people. Did that weird you out at all? Doing that, being that professor of chaos.
Honestly, no. I mean, I can get in the terms of a biotech weapon, how that could happen, but in a naturally occurring disease, like...
We've gotten to 25% though. Like we've gotten that far. A disease has taken out that many people before.
Yeah, but it was also in conditions where, A, we didn't understand...
We didn't have medicine.
We didn't have... Not only did we didn't have medicine, we didn't understand the transmission of the disease at all. You know, we didn't understand any of the biology of how it was spreading, where it was coming
But
from.
also, we find ourselves in a position today where so many people, more people than not, are using, at least in first world countries, are using hand sanitizer. For washing their hands every time they eat, go to the bathroom.
Well, the FDA actually banned the antibacterial.
But what I'm saying is, what I meant was,
Yeah.
it's not a good thing.
No.
I did not mean that to be a good thing, that we're using hand sanitizer
No, it's
and
not.
washing our hands. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing.
It's a good thing to wash your hands. It's a bad thing to be constantly using antibacterial.
I used to frequently go to a friend's house,
Mhm.
and in their basement, where they spent most of their time, were about 5 or so empty, like half-gallon bottles of hand sanitizer, just
Yeah.
empty, lying around because they used so much.
Well, that much fear of disease does cause problems. You know, along those same lines, some of my cousins, one of my aunts, and it's a good comparison between them and my mom and us. My mom was the type to let us play in the dirt, roll around,
Love it.
in the mud, like...
My
you know,
mom wasn't even that. She was just like, sun's up, get out,
Yeah.
come back before it goes down.
Well, yeah, my mom would be digging in the worms with us, you know.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, and she'd clean us up when we were dirty, mostly because she didn't want dirt spread. But it wasn't
Like,
like...
then more work for her cleaning
But-
the house, yeah.
I had cousins that, you know, my aunt, they get a little dirty and she was immediately cleaning them. Immediately clean, you know, it was always this super clean. And they were always sick as kids. Always had allergies, you know. Me and my brothers, no real allergies.
I was like that too, where like, you're young,
Mhm.
little kid, sun's up, go outside.
Mm-hmm.
You're outside, you're in the dirt, you gotta find stuff to do. There's no,
Yeah.
there are video games around, but you're not playing them. You're
Oh,
outside.
no. My parents never really brought us, you know, I'd have books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be given books and stuff like that, but we were outside playing, rolling in the dirt,
Set shit on
exploring,
fire.
yeah.
I remember just being like, everyone been like, what are we going to do? I don't know, let's start a fire. We have any garbage? Let's go find some. And then we would find garbage and we'd just set it on fire.
Well, when I was about 6, we moved to our new neighborhood, and it was a very new development, you know. So there were still a bunch of open lots, like on our street in our cul-de-sac, and we had a big field and a bunch of woods back behind us, and we were just always out there, you know, playing.
Doing stuff. And I
Yeah.
know exactly what that's like because I grew up in South Central Jersey,
Okay.
and it's a lot of wooded areas,
Yeah.
a lot of farms, fields, and everything. And we were walking through the woods one day.
I'm back.
They started building this development,
I need this, Siggy.
right? So in this development, you know, they have a road, and then they start building houses.
Yeah.
So we're walking around, they got these big mounds of dirt.
Oh, yeah, I
shit,
love
right?
those big
Loved it.
mounds.
Brilliant.
What are we talking
We
about?
start
I'm
walking
sorry.
through the woods. You'll catch on.
Okay.
We start walking through the woods, right? Because it's daytime. There are no parents
Mhm.
around. We're just like, oh, it was literally a gang of children
Yeah.
walking around, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way it should have been. That's the way
Oh,
it
yeah.
should be. You get yourselves dirty, you challenge each other.
Rob
Right.
construction sites of their
That's right.
building materials.
Lord of the Flies, bitch.
Poor
Yeah.
Piggy.
Every single day. So we're walking around
I
the
didn't
woods.
like that book in high school, by the way.
So we got this road. It's like a semicircle.
Mm-hmm.
We start going off whatever direction out of the circle is.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what. Like, I'm talking like navigational, like if it was north or south.
Yeah.
I have no idea now. But we started heading off out of the circle into the woods because it was all woods.
Into the wilderness of the
Just
neighborhood.
the woods.
Yeah.
Woods. All we knew was that there was a tree line and we didn't know what was beyond it. So
Exactly.
we started walking, right? We found an abandoned cemetery.
Really?
That's what we found out there. There was like a gravelly road that led
Mhm.
towards it, but that was it. Shoes, like animal bones.
Oh, are you talking about the
Creepy
building that
ass
you guys
shit.
found when you
That's
were little?
right.
Oh, fuck
Creepy
that.
ass. It was
I don't fuck with that.
terrifying. Like terrifying. And I felt like as a kid, like my normal day was collecting trash, setting it on fire, like laying in
You
the
rebel,
street
you.
when the light turned red, just like laying in the street. I mean, just like my normal day was being as reckless as I possibly could without like the real threat of death. And then I stumble in the random wilderness on this abandoned crematorium with like smokestacks and everything, right? And I'm just like, oh my god, this is the fucking scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. And even to this day, I can't imagine walking through the woods now at my age,
Yeah.
at 20, 25,
Almost
even carrying a
26.
gun, you know, just walking through the woods, and then finding a crematorium and being okay with it. You know what I mean? Being like, I'm okay being here right now, and like stepping inside like I did when I was fucking like 10 years old. Like it was no problem. Shit changes, and being a kid, you should be dirty. You should be pushing yourself to the limit
Yeah.
all the time
Well,
as a kid.
Well, as a kid, I'm sorry, Daniel, but I have to just throw this out there. Brett and I have decided that when we have children, we will not allow them to have smartphones until they master T9.
Mhm.
Like,
T9.
the 90s kids remember T9.
That's the way to go. You cannot get past T9. It's the only way to text and drive. I wish.
Truth.
You know what? I'm pretty sure you can set T9 on your phone, your smartphone.
Nope, not an iPhone.
You can on an Android.
Well,
Android's
fuck
better.
Androids. No one likes Androids.
I'm pretty sure you can on an Android.
I never got the hang
I
of
would,
T9.
I would absolutely text and drive on T9. I don't do it. Excuse me, I'm burping all the time. I don't do it on my
no,
Android.
because AT&T, like, when I text you and you're in drive mode, it'll be like, sorry, driving.
Actually, it just says driving. Period. Automatically
That's
sends that
actually
text
quite
message.
convenient.
That's what it does. As soon as my car knows, my phone knows when I get out of my car,
Mhm.
it saves where I parked, right? So I have Google Now,
Yeah.
which is a feature on Androids. It'll tell me where I parked, so I can find it easier, so I don't have to write it down and possibly lose that note. It also knows when I'm driving, so it'll immediately send that text message to somebody when they text me or call me. It just says I can personalize it.
Yeah.
It used to say like this is AT&T's drive mode from Google Now or whatever, and I'm driving apparently and whatever. But now it just says driving. Period.
You know, I'm not sure how I feel about a lot of that automation. Like, that's a convenient feature.
Mhm.
You can set it.
What exactly is your problem with it?
Well, it's just, all this automation is, we stop becoming conscious of the things we're doing. We stop thinking about being really as aware of the world around us. I mean, something that can tell you where you parked.
Let's talk specifically about what it does for me. So instead of so abstractly, so specifically, it tells me where I parked.
Yeah.
So the phone knows by GPS, because I allowed the GPS to like pick up where I am pretty much all the time. It knows exactly where I parked because it
Yeah.
knows when I start walking, basically, because
Mhm.
it counts my steps every day, because I have a step goal
Yeah.
for every day, which is, I know it's ridiculous, but I do. So I have a step goal every day. It's 15,000 steps. So
How is your step goal going?
I've made it. Let's see. I've been doing it for about 2 weeks or so, and I've made it about 5 times, I think, 5 or 6 times. Because I was consistently making 12,000 steps a day. So it's like, let's boost that up to 15,000, 300 steps a day, or 3,000 steps a day rather. That's like a good jog, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe if I did that, if I jogged, I would make my step goal a day. I didn't make it today. I think I spent most of my day at work on the computer, which I think what killed me. On that. But anyway, so like it knows when I start walking. So it knows where I parked my car. Every time I go into it, it tells me how long it takes me to get to either home or work and stuff. It's super convenient because all I have to do is just say, okay, Google, and it just listens to everything I say and it talks to me. It's brilliant.
All right.
But I think my problem with it is, at least me personally, it's the dependence on the machine. Like, I'm not bothered by taking the time to, okay, I parked here. It's not that hard for me. And for certain things, yeah, but I see a lot of people, especially stuff like GPS, where they can't get around at all.
GPS is a problem.
You know,
it is actually, because I've noticed that the less I have to take note of where I'm going or what I'm doing, the less I remember. But the parking thing, I never actually use it to tell me where I parked.
Yeah.
I imagine I would use it if I went out of town, out of state, and like I parked at like an amusement park.
Or like when we went to the aquarium.
When we went to the aquarium.
That was really useful.
Right, and if I was like, where did I park? And it would tell me.
Well, I can see that for certain things, but I think a lot of people abuse a lot of those technologies nowadays.
They might, like Paige was mentioning earlier, the shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's talk about the shoes, the smart shoes.
Tell them all about the shoes.
All right, let me pull up my topics list. Hold on, give my tablet 2 seconds. All right, so we talked about Facebook Messenger, so I can erase that one. Smart shoes are a thing that I just recently read on HuffPost. Apparently, there is a pair of shoes that you can purchase that are Bluetooth enabled, where you can, they vibrate to tell you which way to turn. Tell me what you think about that, Daniel. And Brett, when he gets back from peeing, because beer makes you pee.
I think that is the ultimate mental laziness.
I agree. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I find it useful, but at the same time, I think it's too much. I think you know, we've got to be able to navigate on our own. What happened to maps, man?
It's reducing the need to think about things. Like, and yeah, there might be some convenience to it, but at a certain point, you lose the ability to think and comprehend. You know, you start diminishing your spatial awareness. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, and thinking about your conscious mind, like where you are.
Yeah, our brains want to work. They want to think, and the more we stop thinking, the more we devote it to useless bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. What it says here on the Best of HuffPost, this article was posted on 8/1/2014. It's called "These Vibrating Smart Shoes Tell You Where to Turn." If anybody wants to look it up anyway. It says you can either wear the sneakers, which come in red or black. Ooh, wow, the choices. And you put them in the insoles of your shoes that you already have. And so it's pretty much
shoes?
No, it's pretty much like a Dr. Scholl's for your sneakers that you already have. But what it does is the shoes and insoles were originally designed to help blind people navigate, which that's awesome. Because, I mean, I think that that's amazing, you know, helping out people like that. But apparently it came into prevalence. You can get them they'll be available in September for about $100. They're compatible with iPhones, Androids, and Windows phones.
Super cheap.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cheap. And
well, it's great when you have a disability.
Let me tell you why it's not a bad thing for people who do not have a disability. Because I overheard you agreeing with each other about how the brain needs to think or wants to think, and how it's inhibiting human beings as a species to take control of their lives, basically. Now, it's not a bad thing for regular people, normal people who have no inhibitions, no disabilities, because as our world gets more and more complicated, more and more technology-oriented, more and more convenient with technology, where we're using it more often, especially with social networking, the last thing we want to be doing is trying to multitask with directions and GPS.
See, here's the thing, though.
This is the same step as Google Glasses.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
you're
I'm saying.
making the assumption that just because people have less things, they have less menial tasks they have to focus on,
I agree. I already
that
know where
they're
this is
thinking
going.
more.
I'm not saying they're thinking more, and I'm not saying they're thinking less because they're using it. What I'm saying is it gives them one less thing to worry about. Every average Joe is not going to be walking around with smart shoes. Okay? Every guy like me, I'm not going to have smart shoes. I don't need them. But there are people who do need them.
Like if we live in
The
New York
people
City.
who text and drive constantly, not because they're stupid teenagers, but because they're busy as shit. People who have to go somewhere who live in downtown Manhattan.
Like, I don't...
People that live in
Oh,
those
I said
deep...
like, everybody take a drink.
God damn it.
Sorry, I'm getting everybody drunk.
People who live in those deep city areas, right? Like every street has a number or a name. And you don't have time to be looking on your phone. What street am I on? I've got to get to this meeting here and there.
I mean, I can fuck with that, for sure.
People are going to have it because they need it. It won't be like every person, even though it's affordable for everybody. $100 for a pair of smart shoes, that's really affordable.
It's just the insoles, though. It's not the actual sneakers. It's just a pair of insoles.
It's
like
that's
Dr.
affordable
Scholl's.
shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to stick that in your shoes and it's going to vibrate, Bluetooth to your phone. That's really great.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but then again, I kind of see it
it's a
like
downfall
something like
man.
Google Glass. Google Glass
Tweakers
really
and
hasn't
Facebook
taken
followers.
off.
What do you think? Let me know.
What I'm saying is I don't even want to play devil's advocate. I absolutely do believe that as time progresses, technology plays more of a role in our lives.
Oh, machines are going to take us over.
Well, they're not necessarily going to take us over, but until they do,
Yeah.
we're going to find better ways to use them. Until it comes to a point where it's like we hear about in movies like with Skynet and shit.
I
where
feel
it's
like there's
stupid
so
and they
many
just
other
take
things
over.
that we could focus on, though, like, I don't know, finding a cure for diabetes. For those listeners out there that don't know, I have type 1 diabetes.
Let's see, what's easier, finding a cure for diabetes or making
Finding
a
a better way to deal with diabetes.
or
like,
making a shoe vibrate because you have to turn left.
you.
It's easier to do.
No shit.
Not
But
only
it wasn't
is this
easy to invent
easier-
the light bulb either.
Not only is this easier, it's like really, really simple. I'm surprised it's taken this long
Whatever, fuck
for this
it.
to happen. Like Bluetooth headphones for someone to like talk into a Bluetooth headset.
Well, there's
I'm
actually
surprised
a
it
lot of
took-
technology that goes in,
No, but it's the same exact concept. It's very, very similar. It's actually
You're
simpler.
not going to win me over this one.
Well,
It's
it's
one, Brad.
simpler than a Bluetooth headset for
Well-
your shoe to vibrate.
It's not necessarily the vibrating shoes. It's the refinement of the GPS technology.
That's
True.
true.
Because
That's true.
I remember 15 years ago,
Fuck that.
around then,
Damn.
my dad got his pilot's license. It might actually be a little bit,
I was 10 years old, 15 years
yeah,
old.
Yeah.
but
I was 14.
he had one of the early GPS systems that was released to public.
Tom.
No, it wasn't. No, this was beyond TomTom.
Oh,
This
I fucking
is-
love Tom.
He's like,
He's so cute.
TomTom was the shit. Don't you even...
I love the little android guy. He's cute.
No, literally, this thing was just like a huge block. Like it was it was used for flying when you're, and it wasn't that precise.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
You know, it had
I like
little
that pointy.
Game Boy Square, so it has actually a
Tetris.
bite.
I will say now, though, I have used the walking GPS because 99% of the time I'm using the driving GPS.
We used it and got lost in Baltimore.
I've used the public transportation GPS, I've used the biking GPS, and I've used the walking GPS. And I'll tell you what, the walking is really accurate.
Yeah.
I've never
Well, it's
really.
all satellite.
How'd you get lost in Baltimore?
I don't want to talk about it.
We didn't get lost.
We went into the wrong parking garage. Really, Brett? Really?
Where were you?
We didn't go into.
We went to
No.
the
I
It's
remember.
like 3
Where the-
hours to get to the
Daniel.
aquarium.
Daniel, let me tell you. We did not go into the wrong parking
It was
garage.
not my fault.
We did not get lost.
Listeners, it was not my
Paige
fault.
got lost. She said, I think that's the building we came out of. So I said, okay, and we went into it. And tell you what, it was
Not
not
true.
the right building.
Nope, debunking this statement.
No, it was.
Anyway,
You
They have
weren't that
signs
far off.
all over.
Let me tell
Nothing
you.
to
How about-
say.
let me just say, you weren't that far off. We were like a block away.
See, I think that's one of my biggest problems with like GPS and a lot of. There's signs in most of these major cities for any of the major places you're trying to get to.
The thing is, GPS is used for, addresses.
Yeah.
guys, it's 5 till midnight. Let's move on to our next topic because I want to wrap this up
I
by
already did that.
like 12:30.
We've got about one thing left on my list. I don't know what's on yours.
Okay, what's on yours?
I've got North Korea.
Oh, fucking North Korea. God bless you, great leader.
All right, we've got about let's give it 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Yeah, we can totally fucking debunk North Korea in 10
North.
minutes.
I tell you what,
God bless
I've been
you. Let's
fascinated.
Let's talk about how this all started the other night.
All right. Well, the other night what happened was I was watching a documentary on North Korea called
True.
Inside North Korea on Netflix.
I came home from
Available
work.
right now. You came home from work and you were watching the rest of it with me. You were like halfway through,
I
maybe
was
even
super
less.
interested.
I have been fascinated with North Korea for a really long time.
God bless
Mainly
you,
for the
great leader.
fact that they've isolated themselves so much.
It's ridiculous,
I
man.
do not blame the civilians in North Korea at all.
Oh, I totally
like
do.
no, when I say like
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, guys.
when I say they've isolated themselves, I don't mean the people of North Korea. I mean the government of North Korea. And it's always just really interested me. And when you were watching with me, I was surprised when you were like asking questions.
Because I never really cared about North Korea enough to really pay attention to it. Like, I mean, I knew that there was always a struggle between North Korea and like every other country in the entire world, but I'd never really, and I knew that they were like a nuke threat, but I'd never really like gotten real into North Korea. But after watching that documentary with you, and I cannot for the life of me remember who the news person was for it.
NBC or I think
Yeah,
was
she was
NBC.
on NBC. I know that for a fact. But it was a National Geographic documentary on Netflix. And, oh my God, like, I don't understand. And so then Brett and I were sitting there, and we were Googling, like, places in the capital, because I can't say it right because I'm drunk right now. Pyongyang, yeah. And, oh my God. They were hilarious. Apparently,
They were absolutely hilarious. I didn't think that's where we were going to go with this topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, it was stupid. Like,
no, they were great.
yeah, they were.
absolutely
That was
great.
the thing. Like, people really put a lot of thought into this.
What's even funnier is that people had the time and they decided they
took
would
the
sit
effort.
down. Effort. I'm talking about real effort. They sat down and they reviewed locations in North Korea. If you go to North Korea in Google Maps or Google Earth, there are places that you can review and rate and whatnot. And people have done it. But what's even funnier is there are people who thought that those ratings were serious.
Yeah, that's what really got
And we're
to
like, no one's been able to travel there, and there's no way anyone's rated this
so-
badly. Like, it's ridiculous.
Here's a couple reviews from the Elevator Factory.
The Elevator Factory?
The Elevator Factory in Pyongyang, North Korea. And it's in English. I can't read none of the shit in Korean.
Of
Like,
course
I
not.
took Taekwondo, but I can't read no Korean. I can say like 1, 2, 3 in
Paige.
Korean. That's it.
Paige, we wouldn't expect you to.
So one of them says, "It's as good as they say. I hear they are close to perfecting the down feature. Going up is good, but down, wow. I bow to you, Supreme Leader." Hashtag that's hilarious. Let it be #1 for thousands of years. And then Isaac Coffey, love this guy. The Elevator Factory, truly the best I've seen. Quality
You know what?
elevators made by the great leader and his volunteer helpers.
Volunteer in quotes. What I want to know is
It's
now Google Maps is a Western corporation. Google is a Western
Mhm.
corporation. I want to know
Palo Alto.
who created those locations. Those buildings were obviously there.
How could
But-
you even see those locations? Because Korea's like, no touching.
But I'm
No
like,
toque
all
nada.
right, this is what I'm saying. Like, even if there
Spanish for don't
was,
touch
even
anything.
if there was an elevator factory in Pyongyang, right?
Tell them about the water. The
Wait,
water
I'm not.
park.
Let me just. I want to explore this because I thought about it right now. Even if there was an elevator factory, who edited that
Oh my God.
into
It
Google?
was so ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Because it's in North Korea. Obviously, Kim Jong-un didn't put that
He
shit in
did.
North Korea. No,
He
he did
totally
not.
did.
No,
I
he
bet he
did
did.
not. I know he's experienced Western civilization, but he did not put that shit into Google. So I
How
want
do
to
we know that it's really an elevator factory?
I'm saying it might not
It
be
might
an
be a
elevator factory.
warehouse.
It might be a fucking apartment building, as far as we know.
It could
We don't know shit about those buildings in there. We have no idea.
Die.
It could just be nothing, just an empty building.
Yeah, because they've done that.
Most
they've built
likely.
whole cities
Pyongyang.
that are absolutely
No.
nothing. In
Pyongyang
North Korea.
actually is a city with the buildings.
Yeah,
have
that's
purposes.
true. I mean, but maybe not all of them have purpose.
No,
Tell
they
them
do.
about the water park that we saw.
The buildings in Pyongyang do have purposes.
Oh my God.
You are allowed to live in Pyongyang if you're in good standing with the government and you are a true
Yeah.
believer. They allow you to live in Pyongyang. The other cities, they've built cities for propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Empty cities.
Well, it's not just propaganda, it's economics, because China's done the same thing. In order to keep people working, doing stuff, in
Keep
order,
them working.
you know, this idea of
Oh,
an
I
economy and
that.
stuff happening,
I mean, that kind of
they
actually
just
makes sense.
build things.
There's
Construction.
a town not far from the DMZ from
Excuse
South
me.
Korea.
Everybody listening,
where,
sorry, I drink a
They
lot.
know for a fact that
Yeah.
they built that town because they wanted to draw people who were what's
Yeah.
it calling leaving. What's the word I'm
Leaving the
looking for?
area.
I'm looking for a word like people who defect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
They built that town. It's empty. There's nothing in those buildings. They're completely hollow. It's just the outside. They built those towns for that specific reason. They have hotels. There are hotels. You can only travel if you get a specific quote visa from the government for like having good standing and stuff and being a true believer. Like, and I'm talking about travel within the country, like not out of country. Like, they're hardcore, man. The concentration camps and shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a water park in Pyongyang. Nobody goes to it.
Yeah.
Incredible. It's an
Like
empty
the
water
pictures
park.
looked fake when they showed like the stills. The documentary that we're talking about, in case anybody wants to like hook up and watch it, is called it's on Netflix. It's called National Geographic Inside North Korea, and the commentator, the host of it is I cannot.
Documentarian.
Yeah, I can't remember what the life of me what her name is.
She's
but-
an Asian woman from NBC.
Yeah, she's an Asian woman, and she works for NBC. But it's really interesting. Like, it's really something that I think that everybody should kind of watch. Like, because the thing that really fucks with me the most about North Korea is the fact that the people, like, worship Kim Jong. Well, and
hardcore believers, and let me tell you, it's not just a culture; it's a cult.
and it totally is. The whole country's a cult.
Well,
Yeah.
it almost comes back to the same thing, kind of like, you know, the Duggars on a smaller level.
Yeah, I
When
mean,
you're so
I kinda
isolated
fuck with
from
that.
anything else, any understanding, I mean, you're trained to believe a
Yeah.
certain thing. You have no experience with what
Everybody
else is out
in North
there.
Korea, when they go to school, they're taught that the leader of the country, whoever it is, Kim Jong Il, Kim Jong Un,
Yeah, this is Kim
his
Jong-il
father,
era.
Kim Jong Sang, or whatever his name was,
Yeah.
that they're responsible for everything that happens.
You know.
No matter what, if it's bad, it's Westerners.
Well,
most
it's
likely.
like we were
But if it's
watching
good,
it.
it's always the supreme leader.
We were watching it, and that guy, the doctor from Germany, had fixed the cataracts in
Yeah.
people's eyes.
There's an epidemic
And they
of
went up
cataracts.
to the goddamn picture of Kim Jong-il, because this is when it was still Kim
Mhm.
Jong-il before he died. They went up to the goddamn picture of him and were like bowing, and they're like, the one lady was like, "Oh, great leader, I will work in the salt mines because
Harder.
you
I will
fixed-
work harder.
Yeah, I'll work harder to bring salt to you." But I'm like, what the fuck is
nobody-
wrong with
They
you?
put it out.
Well,
Nobody
that's
thanked
something
the
we-
doctor.
That's almost something we take for granted because we live in a country with almost total freedom of information.
Until you got Facebook Messenger.
we complain about
Bringing it around. Bringing it back around.
we complain about the freedom of information in this country and how untransparent. Honestly, there's not a whole lot that happens in this country that gets by us anymore.
True. That's true. I mean, we had Snowden.
Yeah.
With the NSA. Was it the NSA thing that he did?
Bless him. Bless that guy.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
he's
but
writing a book.
That's the
Apparently.
problem with like all these conspiracy theorists. Like, you really believe they can actually keep all these massive conspiracies under wraps with the way information spreads nowadays?
There's one thing we know for sure about the government. It's that it's unreliable.
Exactly. I'm sure there's small conspiracies going on. People trying, but
Even some of the big ones, but
you get more
most
than
of the time, yeah.
you get more than a few people involved, somebody is going to say something or something's going to come out somewhere. So we almost, when comparing something like North Korea, take for granted the access to information we have in this country.
Yeah, because they do not have internet. They don't have Western movies. They don't
No.
have any access to anything outside of their country.
Except Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Right. Except for the higher levels of government, the very, very, very top dogs, they have complete access to everything else.
Whereas we have,
They're dictators, is what
Yeah.
I mean. They know it.
Yeah.
whereas in this
They've got
country we have
access.
access to just
Or
about anything
Oh, yeah,
you
iPads,
want to know
No,
at
that's
any
it.
time, anywhere in the world.
And that's what Drinks on Us is all about.
Debunking the world.
Knowing
One drink at a
everything
time.
we gotta know. Let's segue to the conclusion of this fucking
Yeah,
episode.
we totally wow, we really made quite a podcast.
Now,
out
I'm
of
not sure if you actually realize. How long do you guys think we've been talking?
it. 2 hours, because we started at like 10:30.
What do you think? Depending on how you feel, not what she said. She was wrong.
Probably about, I don't know, hour and a half or so.
Daniel, you are about spot on the nose. That is an hour and 34 and a half minutes.
I'm pretty
Love
good
it.
at these things.
Well, we definitely want to send a shout out to our fan Dan Jones
Dan
for
Jones.
listening to us the majority of the time, and to our other followers that listen to us. Please, by all
Listen,
means.
if you're gonna give him a shout out, you gotta know his Twitter handle.
Dan's Twitter handle is at Dan_Jones1986.
There you go.
And then to all of our other listeners that have chimed in throughout the story, see, look, I'm drunk. This is what Drinks on Us is. Please, by all means, follow us on Twitter at drinksonus_, and we're also on Facebook, Drinks on Us, www.facebook.com/DOUpodcasts.com. There's not a .com at the end of the tier.
No, but
whatever.
I also want to say, let us know what you think the pick your poison should be for the night.
Absolutely, I
What
love the
word?
pick your poison
I
segment.
think it's a fun game.
Yeah, definitely. I said like about 14 million times. Everybody take a drink.
It sucked. Every time it sucked.
Hashtag that's why Paige is drunk.
Right? Pick your
But
poison.
yeah,
What do you
definitely,
want us to
please
drink?
follow us on Facebook. We have 5 followers right now. We're following 14. Follow for follow.
Hardcore.
I know, but for our
We're up there.
first episode, I think that's pretty good. And thank you, Daniel Rio, my good friend,
You're
for
welcome.
being our guest tonight.
Our first guest.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having me
That's
out.
an honor, man.
One of
True
our
honor.
next guests tried very hard to convince me to let him on tonight.
Who is that?
Alex Horton.
Fuck you, Alex Horton. I texted you and asked you if you want to be on it.
He texted me.
No.
He said, "Fuck it. What time is your podcast?" I said, "Can't do tonight. You've got a guest.
We've got a guest.
You missed out."
Yep.
That's what I said.
And to Stephen Newhall, if you're listening or going to listen here anytime soon in the next couple days, we're definitely going to have you on the show as well. So if anybody wants to be on the show and lives in the Washington D.C. area,
Metro area.
yeah, definitely hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. We'll totally.
Tell you what, the drinks are on us.
Yeah, the drinks are on us. I love it. Good job. I love it. So this is our first episode of Drinks on
Right.
Us. I'm Paige,
I'm Brett.
and this is Daniel, our guest. Say goodbye to everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Hey,
All
thanks,
right.
Daniel. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I
It
think
got
it was
deep
pretty successful.
sometimes, you know?
Stay
Yeah,
classy,
deep.
internet.
Yeah, stay
Got it.
classy.
It got
Smash
a
it.
little deep. And it was fun. It's happy.
Yeah, I
Laughed a
loved
little
it.
bit, had
It
a
was
few
a good
laughs,
time.
had a few drinks.
I mean, the Robin Williams thing was a little it was a little morbid, but God bless him. And we're gonna give another
But you
shout
know
out.
what? It was real.
It was totally
We
real,
gotta get
and
real
and I
sometimes.
just wanna pitch one more time the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, because that's a big thing for me. As working as a nurse, I wanted to just double check. 1-800-273-8255. I want everybody to be aware of that. And if you see someone with symptoms of depression, suicide, anything like that, please have that person call this number. It's saved lives, I'm sure. But anyway, we'll see you next week.
Thanks. Yep.
We'll be here. XOXO, Drinks on Us from Paige. You're done, aren't you?
I mean, how many times are you gonna outro?
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Love you guys.
This is the third time. Yeah. Good night.
@DrinksOnUs_. Do it.
Tell you what I'll do.